This breed of dog was bred to be fearless, powerful, and extremely loyal. A breed that could overcome any obstacle you put in its path. But now, the Doberman's greatest threat isn't some alpha predator or an intruder. No, its biggest threat is its own DNA. By the end of this video, you'll learn why you might actually see this iconic protector, the Doberman, vanish in your lifetime, and what's being done to try and save it. We get tons of emails from Doberman owners here at Doberman Planet from all over the world. And one really scary trend that just keeps appearing in our inbox is lifetime owners of Dobermans who have had dogs live to 12, 13, even 14 years of age back in the 80s and 90s. They're now telling us that the Dobermans they're having now are dying at just 6 or 8 years of age. And these aren't new owners. These are veteran Doberman owners. And their message, it's essentially the same. They're all saying basically, hey, something's wrong here. And science actually confirms it. If you go to Google right now and you type in how long does a Doberman live, the answer it'll give you is 10 to 13 years. But I believe that this is based on old data established for the Doberman long ago. In fact, one of the most recent studies on the longevity of the Doberman breed done by the Doberman Diversity Project found that the current average age of death for the Doberman is just 9.1 years of age. And even scarier than that is that same study revealed that by the time some Doberman varieties hit the very young age of just 7 years old, as many as 40% of them have already died. And it seems to be only getting worse. And many people are now saying that in another 10 years or so, there may not be a Doberman breed anymore. That is, unless someone does something about it and really fast. Okay, so what if I told you that the Doberman's DNA is like a copy of a copy of a copy, and every time its DNA is copied, it just gets a little weaker? This is what inbreeding is doing to the Doberman. Now, it's true, every purebred dog has some level of inbreeding in their genetics. This is totally normal, but the degree to which they're inbred really varies a lot. And the more inbred a dog is, the more health problems they tend to have, and the shorter their lifespan is. Now, to kind of put this in perspective for you, the inbreeding levels of dogs is often measured by something called a coefficient of inbreeding, or the COI level. Now, the higher the COI number is, the more inbred a dog is. Now, we can test for this with DNA tests. And according to the Kennel Club of the UK, the average inbreeding levels for German Shepherds is 2.8%. Labrador Retrievers are right about 6%. For Beagles, it's right at 8.6%. And Yorkshire Terrier is at 11.3%. Now remember, the higher it is, the more inbred the dog is. Now, the average COI among all purebred dogs in general is about 20%. Okay, so anything under 20% seems pretty good, right? Anything under the average. So where does a Doberman's inbreeding levels fall at? Right about 40%. To put that in perspective, a brother and sister inbreeding would result in inbreeding levels of their offspring at about 25%. So 40% is like doing this for many generations. It's absolutely extreme and really scary. Dobermans have one of the highest inbreeding levels of any dog out there. And frankly, this means that they're just kind of running out of healthy genes in their DNA. And with every generation that comes along, this gene pool, it just shrinks a little bit more. It's like playing genetic Russian roulette and their luck is running out. Okay, but hang in there. There is still hope for the Doberman, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Now, with these levels of inbreeding, it really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that a genetic disorder, something in their DNA, is becoming one of the top killers of this breed. DCM, or dilated cardiomyopathy, is a weakening of the heart. It can be related to diet, or it can be due to genetics, and in Dobermans, it's something in their DNA. It's in their genetics. Now, what's terrifying about this is how seemingly suddenly this condition can kill your dog. Owners report just coming home from work and their dog is gone, or being out on a walk and the dog suddenly just collapses and they're gone. We get these emails all the time telling us about this. And we're talking about young dogs too, often between 5 and 7 years of age. Also, there's currently not any definitive test to find out if your dog will get this condition ahead of time. We can test for some of the risk factors for this, but there's no way to know for sure if any specific Doberman will get DCM or not until it's diagnosed. And it's killing a lot of Dobermans. Recent research has shown that it will affect about 58% of Dobermans at some point in their lives. That's over half. And it's basically always terminal. And sure, it does often affect middle-aged Dobermans, yes, but it can hit at just about any age. And once they're diagnosed with DCM, it'll kill them relatively quickly. Most will be dead within 6 months, and at best, they'll live another 2 to 3 years after diagnosis. The randomness and the suddenness of this disorder is really the scariest part. Here's the harsh reality. Most breeders, they just stick to what they know, the same champion bloodlines, the same trusted studs. But in doing that for generation after generation, we've created a kind of genetic bottleneck in the Doberman. Okay, for example, let's just pretend for a moment that there's this hypothetical gorgeous Doberman named Zeus. Now, this dog's impressive. He's big, he's beautiful, he wins tons of ribbons and awards, and he just dominates every dog show he's entered into. Now, Zeus's owner is probably heavily involved in the dog world, and they very well may decide to sell that dog's genetics via a stud fee to Doberman breeders far and wide to impregnate their dogs, and why not? They'll collect a hefty fee for this stud service in the process. And their dog's genetics are gonna be highly desirable because of how decorated the dog is with ribbons and trophies. Well, guess what happens now? Now that champion, as gorgeous and impressive as he is, has countless puppies all over the place, and in a generation or two, other breeders might actually end up inbreeding his descendants without even knowing it. That's how we've shrunken the gene pool for this breed and how we're ultimately endangering the Doberman's existence. Now, as a solution to this, many people have suggested breeding in another dog breed with the Doberman to bring in fresh genetics into the Doberman's lines. But diehard Doberman purists are generally absolutely against this, because even if this new dog we create is healthier, aren't we just creating a new breed entirely? And then isn't the Doberman as we know it essentially just gone anyway? Okay, while we fight for this breed's future in coming generations, you can give your Doberman the best chance today at a healthy, long life by feeding them fresh, human-grade meals. In fact, a full 90% of owners who switched to Ollie's fresh human-grade meals for their dogs said they saw positive changes in their dog, and 75% notice the excitement from their dogs at meal times. And yes, Dobermans absolutely love this stuff. I've seen my own Doberman, Arlo, flip out when it was time for his Ollie food. He loved just jumping like a deer right over our couch at mealtime for his Ollie, something he never did when he was on his, dried out kibble. And in a study conducted in 2022, they found that dogs chose Ollie in a taste test 19-1 over premium kibble food options. I'm telling you, this stuff is great for picky eaters. And every meal is human grade, it's crafted with vet nutritionists, it uses fresh, whole ingredients, and perfectly balanced for your dog. And their meal plans are customized to your specific situation. Just answer a few simple questions at sign up. Seriously, stack the cards in your Doberman's favor for a happy and healthy life. Sign up for Ollie today and use our exclusive coupon code. It's Doberman Planet, it's all caps. You'll get 60% off your very first box. And trust me, this is not gonna be your last box either. So I know you're gonna love this stuff. Check it out. The link will be down in the description down below, and it'll take you straight to the deal. Luckily, guys, we are on the verge of a scientific breakthrough that could change everything for this breed. It would enable us to find just hidden genetic diversity that still exists in the breed and essentially expand that gene pool without mixing in other dog breeds, allowing us to maintain that pure Doberman that we all know and love just as they are. Almost sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's called estimated breeding values, and it's real. EBVs for short. This is a kind of a technical way of saying scientists are creating a way to gauge each Doberman's individual breeding value when it comes to certain problem spots for the breed, such as increasing their genetic diversity, let's say, or reducing DCM in their genes. If we were able to create this method of gauging each dog's estimated breeding value, and breeders actually use this and could make breeding decisions from this, and not just, how many ribbons or titles the dog holds, we might actually be able to unlock much more genetic diversity and health in this breed. We might actually start seeing the average lifespan of the Doberman ticking up and not down. This method has proven true with other breeds that have developed EBVs in the past, and with some pretty astonishing results too. Estimated breeding values really could prove to be our saving grace when it comes to preserving the Doberman breed and possibly even saving it from extinction entirely. And luckily, There's an amazing nonprofit organization called the Doberman Diversity Project, who right now is attempting to help to crack this code and develop this for our breed. In fact, I did an interview with Dr. Sophie Liu, the co-founder of the Doberman Diversity Project. It wasn't very long ago, and she talked about a study they did recently that shed a ton of light on the genetic issues the Doberman is facing right now when it comes to how it affects their lifespan. And if you want to see this amazing, really astonishing interview, which really rattled a lot of cages in the Doberman world, it should be popping up right there in the corner of your screen. Over many discussions I've had with Dr. Liu, she stressed to me multiple times how developing EBVs for the Doberman is one of the most exciting opportunities we might ever see in our lifetime at extending the life expectancy of the Doberman breed. Guys, we'll have all the links that you'll need in the description down below this video. Just click down there. And yes, just like every purebred dog has, we have our own issues here in the Doberman breed world, absolutely. But I'm confident that we'll still have a Doberman in 10, 20, 50 years, as long as we keep stacking as many cards in our favor as possible for healthy, long-living Dobermans. So hit that like button down below if you love this breed, and of course, I'll see you next week.